Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars, Delusions of Granular, with your hosts, Ron and JP. So, last Friday, August 15th, there was a lot of leaks out there for Episode 7.
Yeah, it was curious. I was at home that day, and we were kind of G-chatting, and then suddenly this started coming through fast and furious.
Yeah, it was coming through, it felt like every time I would open up a new web site.
Another web zone.
Web zone.
It was just so weird, because at first I was like, okay, more kind of rumors, more bullshitty stuff, and then the Indy Revolver leak dropped.
The Indy Revolver thing. Well, I feel like that leaked. That was the first thing, I think.
Oh, was
the Stormtrooper
helmet?
helmet.
Sure oh, no. I'm talking about the photo.
Oh, right. Well, let's start. Folks, spoilers always at Star Wars Delusions of Granular. We always talk spoilers. You should know that. If you're listening, we spoil everything.
Right.
But these are rumors, so we're not spoiling anything. We're just talking about rumors.
If you consider rumors spoilers, this will be super spoilerific. It's going to really go deep.
So Friday, the first thing that I think it happened in the morning was Indy Revolver showed a picture of a new Stormtrooper from Episode 7 helmet.
Right. Asymmetrical. Has only a valve on one side for a breathing valve.
Right.
It looks pretty modern design. To me, I felt like it kind of looked what I expect. Right?
It looked sleek.
Yeah.
It looked a lot sleeker.
Yeah.
To me, I got motorcycle helmet out of it, but...
As designed by Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely some memes going around showing the old Volkswagen from the 60s and then the new Volkswagen from now, and that's like old Stormtrooper, new Stormtrooper. But that leaked early, and I think another site ended up leaking a real photo. Like, this was like the first photo that leaked, you couldn't tell if it was a rendering or it was just so close up, and Indy Revolver had their watermark all over it. But the next site, I want to say it was either MakingStarWars.net or Badass News, they leaked a real photo of it, and you could actually see that there was more than one. There was a couple of them in back.
Right.
And the funny thing, it was flipped. So you actually got, if you put two photos together, you could see that it was asymmetrical.
Huh.
Because one side was showing it from the left, and one site was showing it from the right. I like it. I dig it. Stormtrooper's a great costume. I always liked it. I like the variations on it. So I think that's great. But then the next thing I think that leaked was...
multicolored troopers, right?
Well, yeah, okay. So they started talking about multicolored troopers, and that there's going to be a chrome trooper. They did
Chase
leak
variant chrome trooper.
right. They did leak another image of another snow trooper or jungle trooper.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And apparently that stormtrooper is going to use flamethrower. That seemed to have been confirmed by these sites.
Flame. Where have I seen flame used? Flame is used in Star Wars to burn the Jawa bodies. Luke's aunt and uncle.
Yeah. Darth Vader. Pyre.
Pretty much exclusively for body.
Yeah, for body disposal.
Yeah.
So basically, these new stormtroopers are like morticians.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's an important role in the Star Wars universe. We have the same build.
Right. So yeah, they talked about that there's going to be a chrome trooper, and that it's chrome because it has cloaking abilities, so it'll be invisible trooper.
Invisitrue.
And I think they were also implying that was going to be the Gwendolyn Christie. Is that?
I can't follow any of these new cast characters. Tell me this character.
Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita Nyong'o. I know how to say her name. Yeah. That's all I got right now.
Guess. It's a matter of time. But before we go too much further into all these rumors,
yes,
because I do want to react to each and every one on a very granular level.
Sure, absolutely. That's what we do.
What's the show? What do we call this show? Delusions of Granular Podcast.
Yeah. So, folks, this is not. This episode is not going to be just about Episode 7.
No,
we're going to talk about beyond Episode 7.
Far beyond.
Yeah, and purely speculate about what is the future of Star Wars.
Well, I might have an inside line. I'm not gonna divulged the name.
Nice. Yeah, so folks, if you want to join in on our conversations, please do contact us at. You can always email us at swdog77@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. We'll definitely talk to you on there. We're friendly guys. Also, leave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah.
That'll help us boost our show up, so we have a little bit more visibility.
Mm-hmm.
We're also on Stitcher now, so if you're using any kind of Android device, I think Stitcher is the app of choice for that.
Seems like the way to go, and they probably have some sort of review.
Yeah. So we're trying to make our show available to everyone. Please acknowledge that you're listening to us.
How many episodes is this? Is this 6 or 7?
This will be 7. This one,
7.
Yeah,
lucky number 7. Hey, that's a nice.
Funny that we're talking about episode 7 on episode 7.
Well, it's the Force. It flows through us. It penetrates us.
All right.
Finds us.
All right. So where do you want to go with this, JP?
Okay. So a lot of rumors that day.
Do you want to talk about how we don't believe any of these rumors?
I'm really chomping at the bit. There's kind of a story arc that I've subconsciously constructed for myself in this podcast, where I've gone from being pure, full of love and belief in everything Star Wars to now I'm starting to the hate's creeping back in.
You can't don't let yourself go to the dark side.
So there was a lot to digest that day, and I was really struggling. But you said there's rumors about the rumors.
Well, okay, so I saw somebody said, and this maybe I'm just reading, too much of the comments on these articles, but somebody said, "Oh, this is Star Wars Episode 7 Leak Day."
Right.
And I was like, "Huh?" And they capitalized Leak Day, and I was like, "Is this real?" It seemed like at a certain point there were so many leaks coming out from all different sources, like it was planned.
And it's so not JJ, right?
Nothing's
JJ's the master of secrecy.
Yeah, none of this was official.
No, I'm not saying it's coming from him. What I'm saying, though, is, it seems odd that, there's leaks happening and that JJ's not responding or doing subterfuge or something.
Right, because before he did.
And he's been bitten. He's been bitten within the last Star Trek. He kept playing his cards close to his chest.
Oh, right.
And
he said that there was no con.
There was no con.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're dealing with I like to believe that we're dealing with a smarter, more cunning JJ, and it literally was leak day. And he let loose all of his false leaks.
It's quite possible. I mean, nothing really could be confirmed. The Stormtrooper helmet that looked like a photo, that was probably the closest thing to I felt being real.
Sure.
The Han Solo sketches, there were sketches of Han Solo's, a couple of Han Solo outfits.
Han Solo in a duster.
Yeah, Han Solo in a duster.
That's a first pass idea. No question.
And Han Solo in basically the same outfit he wore when he was on Hoth.
Yeah.
So
they also made him look like Harrison Ford doesn't look that young, right?
yeah. They made him feel like he was a youthful Harrison Ford, except he had gray hair.
Right.
So yeah. I don't know. The sketches of Han Solo didn't seem believable to me.
So, I guess it's kind of... all this is maybe a yellow light. If green light is truth and red light is false rumors, it's all kind of a yellow light right now. And honestly, with all these internet leaks and stuff, I was just bitten today, Ron. I was... have you seen this thing going around? I'll put a little timestamp on this.
All right.
The Robin Williams... goodbye video you recorded from his iPhone.
I did see you post that on Facebook.
Yeah, did you see me share that 3 times in a row, so furiously trying to watch the video that does not exist?
I did not.
Oh my god, yeah. I had to go back and delete things on the wall. That's a story I found about, it was all false, so something just gained clicks. Wow, an amazingly underhanded world we live in. So yeah, so at this point, we're all susceptible. So these rumors could all be false.
Sure.
But let's take them as truth.
All right, well, let's take them as truth. If we're going to take them as truth, let's go back to the Han Solo sketches, because what else came out and in that article, I believe, was that Han Solo and Chewbacca are not going to be flying the Millennium Falcon. They are now pilots of a Super Star Destroyer.
Right.
Which I love this rumor. I hope it's true, because I hope it's like this huge, they're going to be on the deck that Darth Vader is walking on.
Right.
But now it looks like a bachelor's pad.
It's
There's like a dartboard.
shag carpeting.
Yeah, shag carpeting. There's a dartboard in the corner. Beer cans all over the place.
Blue milk all over the place. It's just a real mess.
I would love that.
They're doing the blue milk gallon challenge.
Right. The other thing is that Han Solo is going to use a lightsaber again.
Huh.
So,
because he's force sensitive?
no, they didn't say anything about that. They just
That'd be
said,
so balls out for them just to be like, and guess what? It's episode 7. He knows how to use the force. It was implied.
he
now
picked
you
it.
know.
He picked it up from Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Just watching him.
That would be a turn that, like, that is actually a movie that would be so ballsy. Like, the EU would never have done that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's almost like, I almost like that idea.
All right. So then we go back to, what was it? IndieRevolver.com?
Yeah, Indie
Now,
Revolver.
have you ever heard of Indie
Never.
Revolver
That's my
before
first thing.
last
Never
Friday?
heard of it.
Never heard of it. Which
Although,
makes me...
Is that
like,
a sign that our fingers is not on the pulse? Maybe?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
believe that.
here's the thing. I kind of want to think that somebody built the site the night before.
Right.
I think it was built in WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they downloaded a theme.
Yep.
You know, and all of a sudden they have a site go up live, like the day before they leak these
I didn't
things.
look at their previous stories.
I didn't either. I mean, it's not like it's Latino Review, which has been around for a while.
Yeah.
MakingStarWars.net seems to have just popped up because of Episode 7 in Rebels.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Badass News or Digest or whatever it is.
Feels
I don't
new.
know. Yeah, I've never heard of it before.
I have like a pretty set regimen, and I've had it for years, though. I only had to go to like 5 websites on the internet, so.
Right. So, anyway, we go back into the afternoon of that Friday.
Yes.
And Indie Revolver leaks something else.
They leak a shot. Looks like it was kind of, perhaps it was shot like when you kind of have your arms crossed, or like kind of not quite at your chest, but a little lower, and you're kind of holding your phone underhand.
Yeah.
You know, because it had that weird angle to it.
Yes.
But it is a image of a cybernetic cloaked figure in a Shakespearean pose holding the cracked helm of Darth Vader.
Yeah. The helmet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess a helm would be something else.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know what a helm is.
No.
Okay, anyhow.
Helm's Deep, I don't know.
No, okay.
That's
All
all I
right.
know.
So we looked at this using our Photoshop mastery, which you can see on the Facebook page. We brightened it up. We sharpened it up so you can see a little more detail. Mm-hmm. The face doesn't quite make sense to me on how it works.
Brightening it up did not make it make any more sense.
No, actually, to me, I felt like, well, this looks like it could have been a really well done computer rendering that was kind of photoshopped to look like something.
Because when you did brighten it up, you got to see his hand holding Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
And what I had read, because I was following all the trail of these rumors from site to site.
Yeah.
And one of the sites said that J.J. Abrams and the Star Wars production has released a total of four official glimpses at Star Wars.
Space Pig?
Well, no. That was TMZ.
Oh, really?
That was TMZ.
Huh, okay.
Right? No, it was the Hope for Change videos.
Yeah, with the guy with the backpack.
The charity, that the guy with the backpack comes out first.
Yeah.
That was the first video.
Right.
And then TMZ leaks a bunch of photos. I think it was TMZ leaks pictures that the Millennium Falcon is being built for Episode 7, and J.J. releases a still photo saying, basically, whoever's leaking photos of, the Millennium Falcon, that's crazy. Why would you think the Millennium Falcon is in Episode 7? And the note is on the chess table in the Millennium Falcon, right? So
nice.
that's JJ's, that was nice. That was JJ's way of saying, look, I'm not going to come out and say the Millennium Falcon's in this movie, but guess what?
Right.
Right? So then he releases another video, again, for the Hope for Change, or Force for Change, or whatever the charity thing is.
Sure.
Forceful change. And it's him standing, he's got his arm up, and he's leaning up against what appears to be some type of Star Wars spaceship.
Oh, the X-Wing thing?
Right. And
right.
The camera's pulling out as he's talking, and you see that it's a variation on an X-Wing fighter.
Very Ralph McQuarrie inspired.
Very Ralph McQuarrie inspired.
Yeah.
And, JJ's standing in the way of an X-Wing pilot getting in, climbing up the ladder and getting in.
I didn't actually watch this video.
Yeah, it's neat. It's the same kind of cuteness that, he's basically not telling you that this is in the movie, but he's standing right by it. And it's a practical ship. It's not CGI, it's real. You can clearly see that it's got substance. Right.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing for them right now is messaging that, there's real props in this.
Oh, yeah, that's all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. So then the fourth official thing that came out was basically they picked a winner in this Hope for Change. Basically, you donated money and opportunity to be in Episode 7. Okay, and they picked the guy that's going to be in Episode 7.
It's amazing how little I know about the charity or anything.
Yeah.
I just looked right past all of it, right to the images. I don't know what the money's going to or anything.
But this is the key photo that I wanted to get to was, it's a note from JJ.
Right.
Right? And it's saying, look, thank you for raising so much money for the charity. All your help is going to a good cause, blah, blah, blah. And the note is being held by a cybernetic hand.
A robot hand. And
robot hand.
What's funny about that robot hand is, as I was looking at it, immediately I was like, what do I know about robot hands in Star Wars? And it's like, well, Luke's hand's more advanced than that. It looks like a hand.
Right.
This looks like it could be Anakin's hand.
Anakin's hand seemed a little bit less advanced.
Or skinless 3PO hand.
Right.
I was like, okay, because it didn't seem advanced enough to be a modern-day hand, particularly one that's 30 years past the...
right. I did show it to somebody. A, they did not see the hand right away.
Mm.
And B, they said, oh, there's going to be an evil C-3PO in the movie. And I'm like, awesome.
That's a great
I like where your mind is going.
Of all the people.
It makes sense, though. Anakin built him 30 years afterwards.
Order 66 kicks in.
Order 67.
Yeah. Order 67. You really...
C-3PO wipes out everyone.
Complain a lot.
Annoys people to death.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this... It's fascinating because this image of the cyborg holding the helmet is either A, the what's that stone called with the all the language?
Rosetta Stone.
It's either the Rosetta Stone that interprets all these things.
Interprets everything, yeah.
Or it's an amazing hoax for leak day.
Yeah. Okay, so what they're saying is that this character is... Yeah,
this ties all the rumors together. That's the beauty of it.
Right.
It takes all
the
rumors.
What they're saying is the Rebels TV show that's coming out is going to tie into Episode 7, the big bad, and...
Knowing that it's at least 40 to 50 years apart, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of tie-ins over 50 years of continuity, which is further than the prequels were from the original trilogy.
Right.
So think about that.
Right. But what they're saying is, so the big bad in Rebels is going to be the Inquisitor, which is basically Vader's lackeys that he sends out to kill the Jedi because Vader's too busy to do it himself.
Right.
Which is kind of a retcon.
And I go along with it because of my faith in Filoni, and because... On a certain level, it does make sense. Like I on the EU episode we did a few weeks ago, I really don't like the idea of emperors, helpers.
Right.
Where it's there's a helper and a helper.
Right.
It's a very retconny, silly thing. But logistically, if you think about, there's tens of thousands of Jedi or thousands of Jedi at the very least, right?
Right.
Then actually.
How many Jedi
how many Jedi are there? Because actually, if you watch the movies, it's maybe there's 130 of them. Maybe there's 300.
And where are these Jedi coming? Because the Jedi, if you're going to become a Jedi, you're basically taking a vow of celibacy.
Yeah.
So you're not making new Jedi.
Yeah.
So
and they seem to, I mean, there's EU talk, but like, as far as how they even get new Jedi, like, it seems like there's something about the territories that these Jedi defend. Kind of like your Green Lantern comparison last episode. Like,
right.
The territories these Jedi defend, like, they sense someone, like, it's almost like they, like, require, like, well, hey, if we're going to protect you, I mean, a kid. But, anyhow, that's in the weeds.
So what they're saying is this cybernetic character that's holding Vader's mask is also an Inquisitor.
Yeah. Oh, back to what we were saying. Logistically, it just makes sense because if there's a bunch of Jedi, I mean, Darth Vader can't go after each and every one.
Oh,
eventually.
yeah, right.
And that's a lot of people to kill.
He's got a lot of... He's busy doing other things.
Yeah. I mean, paperwork.
There's a lot of paperwork in the Empire.
Yeah.
Vader's just... He's backlogged on his timesheets.
This is actually something that... Now I'm kind of interested as far as the Darth Vader comic book series. It's going to take place around that time, too, because maybe that'll focus a little bit more on what he was doing. I mean... I
think so.
Theoretically, he was going after the big Jedi that got away, which we don't know who they are. But,
okay, so there's a few other things going on
maybe he's
here.
trying to bring back Padme. You know? I mean, that's kind of, use the dark side to bring someone back from the dead. Like, do you think they'll go there?
Oh, that'd be great if they went there.
That's totally what
Who's writing that series? Do we remember who's writing that series?
What's his name doing Jason Aaron's doing the main one.
Oh, right. It is strictly comic book guys, right?
Yeah. Mark Waid is doing the Leia one.
So
the other guy, I can't remember, he's the newer guy, I can't remember his name.
So these comic book guys, the guys you mentioned, they are known as comic book creators.
Oh, big time.
Right? I mean, that's pretty much all they do.
Jason Aaron's uncle, though, I just happen to know this, wrote how do you want to say Metal Gear Solid? Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these guys basically are comic book guys.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. 100%.
But if they're writing for Star Wars now, they have to be looped into whatever J.J. and Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy are doing.
That's a big
Or are they being
quest.
dictated here, this is what you can do,
I think that they're given guidelines.
I mean, I'm looking at it as comic book guys, comic book creators are kind of low on the chain of the overall having control over this universe. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that, they're just being given orders to be okay, this is what you're going to write about.
I don't think it's so as prescriptive as that, but I do think that there is here's your space, you can play in it, make sure the characters are here, put them back in the sandbox here, and submit every script to us. Right. I'm sure that occasionally they submit something on the 15th, and it's and they get something back on the 25th. It's ooh, sorry, can't use that character because that character is going to be conned out.
Right. So anyway, what they're saying is the Inquisitor, this cybernetic being, is actually another Inquisitor.
He's an Inquisitor, which ties back to one of the original rumors of Star Wars Episode 7 that there would be
Jedi hunters. Luke
has basic setup. I think this is the most popular rumor. Right?
Yes.
Basic setup. Luke has disappeared.
Yes.
Do you want to go through the full one? Did we talk about the hand and everything previously?
We have not talked about the hand floating in space.
Should I go through the full?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So
we have, as a podcast, we have not covered any of this.
Okay. All right. Here we go. According to rumor, this is how Episode 7 will go down. Much like every other movie, where there's a big close-up of a spaceship coming in, there'll be a very big close-up of something technological. Could be a spaceship, kind of going through the air, and you'll be watching. And it'll be kind of twirling, and slowly the camera will pull back and pull back. But instead of panning down to a planet or something, as it pulls back, what you'll see is that it's actually a lightsaber. And there's a hand holding it. And as you go back further, it's a hand that's disembodied. It's Luke's hand.
Well, they haven't actually come out and said it's Luke's hand.
Right, that's true. I was projecting.
Right.
So then this hand, we're going to follow it and watch it as it floats through the air, and it's going to land on Tatooine. John Boyega and
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley will find it.
Right.
And decide this is a Jedi thing. We got to give it back to the one Jedi in the universe.
There's supposed to be a hidden message in the lightsaber.
Which I can't wait to start seeing these lightsabers communicate. Like that's what I
was
want.
just thinking it was like a note.
Oh, that sucks.
Or maybe like the lightsaber is like a decoder ring, like in A Christmas Story, and they're twisting it and turning it, and they're like, "Oh, remember to drink your Ovaltine."
I wish I was like Green Lantern's ring or something, like a green projection of Luke Skywalker. You know, help me, John Boyega, you're my only hope. And then from now on, we can start having lightsaber whips and lightsaber golf clubs and lightsaber.
I'd like to see a lightsaber golf club.
It's a quick game. So they go on a wild madcap quest to find Luke Skywalker, give him back his.
Well, the rumor has it, or some of this has already been debunked. By who, I don't know.
Sure.
But they're saying that, they get Han Solo to fly them around. So it's like Han Solo is, taking the kids around to look for Luke Skywalker.
Well, I think that's, in my mind, my interpretation of the rumor is that's one, they go to the authorities now the rebellion, found this hand and lightsaber, this runs up the chain, and of course gets to Han Solo, he knows whose lightsaber that is, because that's his BFF. Hasn't seen him in 10 years, according to the rumor.
Right.
And so then he's like, here, kids, take my Millennium Falcon. I've got the Star Destroyer. You got to find that Luke. Because something reminds me of something about him and you and us and everything. Go on.
And then he says, I have a bad feeling about this.
And then someone else goes, I know. And that's the end of the movie. But no, and then eventually they'll find Luke Skywalker. And the reason Luke Skywalker disappeared is because he's been fighting these Inquisitors.
Yes.
Pretty much since he came out as a Jedi. Since he came out of the Jedi closet,
day after the celebration on Endor.
Yeah, Chub Nub. Yeah.
That's all been. That's not in the movie anymore. You can't sing that anymore.
Right.
That is not canon anymore.
Now it's just some song, music.
It's just a song of joy.
Yeah, it was so much better. What was the lyrics there? It was like
it was Yub Nub.
Yeah. But what's they actually say? What's the interpretation is like freedom. We get freedom.
Yeah, we'll have to look up the lyrics on the internet later.
This is really bashful. This episode's over.
So, that's all plausible story.
No,
fine.
it's not. I immediately reject the Inquisitors.
They don't talk. They don't talk about Leia at all.
Yeah, no, why would
they? They don't mention any of these new cast members, other than John Boyega and Daisy Ridley. We don't know anything about
John Boyega. Not even is it his movie? I thought it was a girl's movie. We don't know.
We don't know.
We
think there's been rumors that John Boyega is a stormtrooper. He's a stormtrooper, and he's defecting from the Empire, and that Gwendolyn. Is there a name Gwendolyn Christie?
She hasn't earned a name yet, Ron. That's the reality.
Oh, you're getting all the Game of Thrones fans mad at you.
that person.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's she's a stormtrooper as well. And she's going after John Boyega because he's a defected stormtrooper, and him and Daisy Ridley have some type of relationship. He saved her, or she saved him from some kind of crash on Tatooine, but now they're saying that's not Tatooine.
God, man, you are so in the rumors.
We don't. Yeah, we don't
surface level.
Yeah, no, I don't have a life. I can't even use the excuse I'm slow at work because I'm not. But.
Well, okay, let's just break it down real quick. Let's look at the structure of everything.
Okay.
So first off, a lot of people have been upset about the hand thing.
The hand thing is ridiculous.
They're the Empire Strikes Back hand has been out there for years and years. And my thing was always, well, who's saying it's the Empire Strikes Back hand? He has another biological hand.
Right.
And I think that's more interesting.
Right. Or it's just his mechanical hand fell off somewhere.
Screw that. He loses both hands. We're raising the ante. But
it can't enter atmosphere without burning up.
Yeah. Well, it's got midichlorians.
Not if it's the mechanical hand.
But if it's the other one, so...
All right. I believe this rumor's already been debunked, saying that it's too gruesome of a way to start off a Star Wars movie. Especially,
it's too kind of J.J., you know? I feel like J.J.'s smarter than doing that, because it feels like a fan's interpretation of, like, J.J. So, anyhow, I agree with that being debunked. The Inquisitors. Boy. I have a real problem with the Inquisitors.
Really? Yeah. Even in Rebels?
No. I think it makes sense in Rebels.
Okay.
And I mean, you have to have something there. And I do like the fact that they're doing a really interesting thing with Rebels in terms of, like, they're pulling back. Like, you're not going to see Vader. You're not going to see the Emperor. Right. Unless it's, like, ultra important. Right. You know? Right. So I think that's all cool, and it makes sense. They need to have some kind of bad guy, and logistically, we talked about it. It makes sense to have somebody do the dirty work when you can't be there. Mm-hmm. Now, where it falls for me is like, well, okay, here's where it all falls for me. 50 years later, the Inquisitors are still really into this and still, like, pushing this, even though they haven't been Jedi for 30 years. That's odd.
Right.
And it's like, and also, if they were so blood crazy about this, like, quest to kill all the Jedi, well, Obi-Wan wasn't exactly hiding it, you know? I mean, I know he's on the Outer Rim, but I mean...
Right.
Christ.
You know,
it's
okay,
like, it's like, who's this old space wizard?
They are saying that... Like, I've heard that there is a little bit of retconning going on.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right.
That Obi-Wan has basically been lying through his teeth more so than we even know.
And
like,
we already know... That's in the character.
We already know that he's lied to Luke.
Yeah. Oh,
but yeah. The whole, like... Canon. Like, they're saying now, and we're going to find this out in Rebels, that there's more Jedi than just Yoda and Obi-Wan laying low, and they can't come out and say they're Jedi because they'll get killed.
Which makes total sense to me, and it's a place they have to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think we're going to see a lot of that change in Rebels. I think Dave Filoni's going to handle that well, which eases my mind.
For sure.
But I think that here's my problem with the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Moving forward into Episode 7 is where were they in Episodes 4 through 6?
Yeah.
Right? That's the big, well, where were they?
And it's like, well, Vader, you know, they got too aggressive maybe, and Vader put him into cryogenic suspension in case we didn't need him right now, but someday maybe.
All right, so let's go back to this cybernetic...
No. Let's not go there yet. Let's hold on.
Oh, man. I got so much.
I know. Because we have to get to the Stormtroopers yet.
Okay.
Stormtroopers, Ron.
Yes.
Fundamentally.
Yes.
I don't think I'm the first person to make this point, but okay, we conquer
bad shots.
We conquer Nazi Germany.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Nazi Germany is now done. It's just Germany. Peace, love, and everything reign.
Right.
But we still need a military force. Do we wear the Nazi uniforms?
No, but...
I mean, you at least, even if you kept the swastika, you would at least put a paint job on it, right? Are you saying that...
what you're saying is that the Stormtroopers are now, like, the good guys?
Or, like, what the hell is it? Like, they're neo-Nazis? Really well funded with good product designers, who make excellent sculpted asymmetrical helmets.
The argument is that has been people are arguing on the internet is just because you kill off the head of your, you kill off your leaders,
right?
You kill off the Emperor and Vader doesn't mean that the Empire ended.
Okay, so what that is saying then is that the celebration, the chub yub at the end of Return of the Jedi was premature.
Yes.
And they did not win the war.
Correct.
They just won a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, that really takes the wind out of my sails, Ron.
It does. It does take, like, they purposely, Lucas purposely put in that the celebration was going on more than just Endor. In the special edition.
Yeah, we've seen Naboo. And that felt great to see Naboo.
Right. It goes on on Tatooine.
Yep.
It goes on in Cloud City. It goes on
Yeah, they do show Cloud City, you're right.
Right? They show the Empire's statue being toppled.
Yeah.
You know, so it was more than just a battle. Like, maybe originally, in the original before the special editions, it was just a battle, but Lucas has changed that.
For the record, the special editions, those are the canon ones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be.
Right. The other rumor going around is that, you know, the fans are going to finally get a Blu-ray release of the original unaltered trilogy.
That was squashed.
And that is not going to happen, folks, unless Fox announces it, because they own those movies.
They own the distribution.
Yeah, Disney does not actually own the distribution.
It seems like
of
it's
those.
a very similar mess to the mess that the Batman 66 series is in, where there's a Fox has something, CBS has something, and I can't get it together.
But I think they finally resolved that, right?
They did.
Yeah,
they did, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they did it like 12 years too late. It's like, who's buying DVDs?
Right. But I'm excited that we're finally going to be able to watch Batman
hell
66
yeah!
again.
That was what got me into comics.
Yeah.
But that said, my theory still stands that it's because of Marcia.
Right, and I think we'll try to dive deeper into that later episodes.
We didn't mention that in the last episode either, that Marcia, no one knows where she is. Hasn't been
nobody
photographed
does
in
know.
years.
Yeah. All right, so where were we with...
Okay, so... Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers? Okay, right.
In my
so
mind,
I'm saying,
the equivalent to a Nazi uniform.
But I'm saying that the Empire hasn't fallen, and they've been fighting with them for on and off for 30 years.
Okay, so my question to you then is, in this new, hypothetical future,
yes,
what was the point of the original trilogy? To kill the Emperor?
Well, that is... Can we finally get to my Inquisitor? Because this is really bugging me.
Hit me.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So they show this very Shakespearean shadowy figure holding Vader's helmet cracked. Right? And rumors actually came out today on MakingStarWars.net saying that there's storylines that might not be in the movie but have happened, and they're going to expand upon those, maybe in some different type of media that tells the story between in the 30 years between Episode 6 and Episode 7. And they're saying
a flashback. We'll come back to that later.
We'll come back to that later. But what they're saying is that the Empire goes back to Endor after the rebels leave, have their party.
Right.
They
so
leave
Luke
a mess.
And Leia and everybody like that was great. Really good time.
They have a mess. There's beer bottles and
they put a little medal on the cute little Ewok.
There's a big huge mess, and the rebels are like, "Hey, thanks Ewoks. Have fun, clean this up. And we're going home." And Leia's like, "I don't have a home." And we're like, your planet blew up. But anyway, the Empire comes back and has another battle on Endor.
Yeah.
And apparently, the subtext here is they kill all the Ewoks because nobody likes the Ewoks, which makes me not believe this rumor at all.
Exactly.
Right? But they also get the remains of Vader. And to me, that is silly. Because when was it ever really established in the original trilogy that Vader was that big of a deal?
Okay. Number one, I'm going to play devil's advocate first, even though I completely agree with a lot of what you're saying. First thing off, I think in between 1 and 2, he becomes a massive deal. And 1, he's clearly just
between A New Hope and Empire.
Yeah,
because
4 and 5.
He messed up because he.
Well, no, because he somehow he
fails upwards.
But when we see him in the Maw Fronts, he's kind of being treated like a weirdo, and he's kind of more just a muscle.
Yeah,
it's obvious they all see him as the muscle, not the brains.
Yeah.
Now, then most of them die some by his hand.
Right.
And then the next thing we know, he's commanding Star Destroyers. He's really
he's
running
got the
show.
Super Star Destroyer.
And he's also apparently running the chain of command where it's you work for him, he kills you. And the next person
right.
So I think he's important. I do.
Okay.
And plus, he is also to a certain contention. I think if we're sticking with the Nazi thing, if these Inquisitors are like the SS, right?
Yeah.
I mean, then like he's like their Himmler, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I can see them wanting to come back for the remains. But here's my thing. That was such an emotional scene when he's burning his father's remains, who had just redeemed himself, only to live a few minutes as a natural man.
Right.
And he's watching with tear-filled eyes as the corpse of his father burns, and he becomes a fully fledged Jedi and a man, and he's accomplished his goal. You think he lets it get like half burned and is like, yeah, this will probably take care of itself, and walks away?
Luke doesn't know how to prevent forest fires.
Right.
Door on fire.
That's looking pretty good. He just keeps going. Or maybe he uses his what is it called? Force thermo powers or whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
He watched that shit burn to the ground. That man took off his hand.
Yeah, this photo, the fact that we've gone into Photoshop and still can't really make sense of the physicality of this person.
The fundamental structure.
Yeah.
We also corrected the perspective. And everything.
We can't make it out. The other thing is, they're saying that this Inquisitor has, like, an obsession with Darth Vader. And I'm like, why? Like, why? It doesn't make... And what good is it to get, like... What are you going to get... What benefit is it to get Darth Vader's remains? Like, the helmet that they show... But the helmet they show... Oh, you're saying they're going to clone him? We don't even know how the clone technology works. We don't know if it works that way.
And I feel like we're going to see the end of the Caminos and Rebels.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, someone's going to have to... Well, I mean, they're going to get, genocide.
I think they're just fired.
You have to, like, close that door, though.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're just... I mean, the clips we've seen of Rebels... No, but they show stormtroopers talking, and they clearly have different voices.
Oh, yeah.
So they're already kind of establishing that the stormtroopers are not clones.
What I'm saying is I think they're going to have to close down the opportunity for someone to use the clone factory. I mean, as writers. I think they're going to they're going to be like, okay, this is done, so they're wiped out.
Right. Well,
that's
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so the Inquisitors. So we're debunking this image now.
I think we're debunking this image because
the other alternative is, I mean, he fought a lot of Jedi, probably took some damage. It makes sense he would have some backup armor. But if it's just his backup, A, why is it busted up? B, unless you're like one of those maybe that's it. Maybe he's like a fantastic allegory for like shitty collector fans who's like. He's like, I have this busted helmet that he never actually wore, but it's a defective model that I paid for like double on eBay. Like,
all right, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting.
If we're going that route, okay, and talking about the Kaminoans, right? The Kaminoans, they can just make another.
The bitchin' Kaminoans.
Right? Bitchin' Kaminoans. What's so important about that particular armor? Like, just go to the guy who made it originally and be like, yeah, I need another one.
What? Lenny?
No, not that guy.
Oh, not the original guy. Oh, okay.
No, the guy who made... Whoever Palpatine hired
we saw him
to make...
right?
Palpatine had,
I love that vacuum seal when they put it on his head.
Palpatine had some guy waiting, be like, hey, eventually Anakin's going to burn himself to death, almost.
This is just what a Sith do after a while.
That's just what happens.
Except for me, I don't do that.
I like your Palpatine.
He's an old Jewish man. Yeah. Oh, Annie.
Mel Brooks didn't even go there.
We should actually eventually we'll do a Spaceballs episode.
We should do a Spaceballs.
Do you remember the interviews with Mel Brooks on the lead up to Phantom Menace?
No.
Oh, yeah, he had a whole bunch. He was all over the place for a while because the plan was that he would do a sequel or a prequel to Spaceballs, and in interviews he would be like, they're like, when will it come out? He's like, ideally it'll come out 2 weeks before Phantom Menace. Worst case scenario, 2 years after. It ended up being a cartoon thing I've never had the heart to watch. Anyhow.
Really?
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, I had no idea this existed.
I think it's on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like a cartoon.
Of a sequel to Spaceballs?
Yeah.
I had no idea this existed.
We'll look it up afterwards.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to do like a show of just like, like Robot Chicken, Family Guy.
You know what else we need?
Hardware Wars.
Oh, I've never watched it, so I'm excited.
I think I watched it when I was a kid.
What else we need to do is start tagging these episodes better, so we can recall that we talked about this stuff. Anyhow, so
you're asking a lot of me.
debunking the photo.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right to me.
It seems silly. I don't get the whole thing with the. Here's the other thing. What if it's not an Inquisitor? What if it's Emperor Palpatine? Now, finally fulfilling his role as a Sith, getting genetic...
That's the thing. You would think that the Empire would be more concerned about trying to find his body, floating out in space, than Vader's.
Space?
Yeah, he blew up on the second Death Star.
Yeah, because the Death Star blew
so he's got to be floating around Endor.
You're right.
Here's the thing.
He would be debris.
So, one of the rumors is that, we talked about this, that the new cast, along with Han, is looking for Luke. Luke's in hiding.
Yeah. Right?
This was originally the rumor was Luke's in hiding. So this is a way of J.J. going and revisiting all the planets that already we visited in the original trilogy. So they're going to go to Endor to see if he was on Endor. They're going to go to Tatooine, see if he was on Tatooine. They're going to go to Hoth, see if he was on Hoth. And these are all planets or terrains that have been rumored exist, right?
Yeah, rumored that that's why they're shooting in this location.
And I say, fuck that. Fuck that. I don't want to see them go back to planets like, oh, great.
How many new planets do we get in the prequels?
Well, okay, so I always had a theory that you got 3 new planets each movie.
That makes sense.
Right, but then the prequels ruined that theory by throwing in, you got 5 or 6 new planets.
They blew up the universe, and then Clone Wars further so. Yeah. So to me, it seems strange to then go backwards, but it would be fitting with all the marketing stuff they said to be, rah rah rah. We're going back to the OT ways, all the old OT places.
I don't want to see that
because that's the one thing about the original trilogy is you really get a sense that it's a small universe.
Yeah, I know, but so they're going to just make it small again.
That's what I'm saying. It's like. This is just me poking holes.
But, legitimately, we've seen sets. Whether they're not officially released. We've only seen J.J. on that desert planet with the creature walking up, hunched over.
And Tatooine makes sense to me. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but it makes sense to me for us to keep going back to Tatooine.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, here's my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. It's because that this is so influenced by Dune that it needs to always go back to the well to pay homage. It always needs to go back and
I think that
nod.
I think we're going to get that no matter what, even though they're saying, oh well, it's a different desert planet. It's not Tatooine, but I think you're right. I think that we're going to get Tatooine.
I think you have to. And I think that's just right. Morally.
I was watching, side note, Phantom Menace the other night.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene, I finally, great film.
Anytime you mention that, I was a fan of a great film.
There's a scene that I never quite understood until I watched it the other night.
Okay.
So they decided that they're going to go to Tatooine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They need to make repairs.
Yeah.
On the ship, and the nearest system is Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
And you see, okay, so the Queen Amidala's ship is very silver, metallic, chromey thing, right? You see it flying through space, and this is very J.J., even though Lucas did this, but you see, they're not lens flares, but you see like two like flared out lights in space. Up until literally, I watched this 2 nights ago. I did not realize that that's the twin suns on Tatooine.
Oh,
I was just like, "What is that?" I never quite understood because the ship just kind of flies by it, and they're blurred out in the distance, like they're literally like flared out.
But you're in space now, so you're not seeing it. Like
you're not seeing
it
through
through the atmosphere.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and it's a split second, and it was like, oh yeah, they're going to Tatooine. That's the twin suns.
I'm sure George Lucas made them put that in.
I'm sure he did, and it made sense. It totally made sense. It's like, oh yeah, before we even land on the planet, you're getting it.
That's golden. Man.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
totally
that
golden.
kind of shit.
That's why people need to be like, stop the blanket of hate on the prequels and actually watch the movies because there's shit in there that.
Yeah, I just wish they hadn't cut the old spacer character that had been in there.
Who I don't know who that is.
So if you read or listen to the novelization, I can't remember who wrote it. It's not Terry Pratchett.
No, it was a Terry though.
Oof. Okay.
Was it Terry Pratchett?
Oh, Terry Pratchett wrote one.
Maybe it was episode 1.
Well, you all have Google. So in that though, he has a lot of scenes that were in the original draft that didn't make it to the movie, and one of them is this great thing of Anakin running across this old man, and they call him the Old Spacer.
Okay.
And he's kind of he used to work on Star Destroyers and this and that, and he's kind of just waxing poetic about how beautiful space is and this and that. And I hear you're a pretty good pilot, and buys the kids Cokes and space Cokes.
Space Cokes.
Yeah, gets them all space coked up and and he's talking to him. And he's like talking to the kids, and he's being like, I think you could make it someday. And basically, it's just this moment where he fills this sad slave boy with imagination of what's out there, and it was a cool motivation.
That is a good, that's a neat scene.
Yeah, so, the Old Spacer.
Nice.
With me.
Nice.
We'll do a Phantom Menace episode soon.
Yeah, we should do
a
Phantom
on the horizon.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we?
So
I don't know where we're at now.
John Boyega and Daisy Ridley are riding.
Oh
in
yeah,
space.
we were talking about them revisiting all the planets and blah blah blah.
Yeah. And we talked about the Inquisitor. And how it doesn't make sense.
All right, so let's move.
And the other rumors about Endor and...
Yeah, so let's move forward to today's rumors.
Yeah.
Because...
It makes sense to me quite a bit.
There were a few... Okay, so they're basically saying that... still going along with the idea that Luke has been missing for years. And they've clarified that rumor a little bit, that he has not been missing since the day after the big celebration on Endor, but he's actually been missing for... He was around for 10 to 20 years.
Sure.
And now
doing
he's
Jedi
missing,
stuff.
He's been missing for 10 years. And that's interesting that you say doing Jedi stuff. So say that this rumor is true.
Yeah.
That he was around for 10 to 20 years and then goes missing for 10 years because we're dealing with a 30-year span.
Yeah.
Right? So did he start to rebuild the Jedi Order?
Did it go bad?
Do we see remnants of the Jedi Order kind of just in disarray because...
Did he make his own villain?
Yeah, right.
Maybe the quote-unquote what we're calling Inquisitor is
yeah, who knows? So, that was rumor number 1 of today, which is fine. Yeah, that makes sense. He wasn't gone for 30 years.
Yeah, it's kind of an appendix to a rumor.
It's like the day after the big party on Endor. They're like, hey, anyone see Luke? No? All right, well.
Probably he's back at the rendezvous point.
Yeah, right. So they're like, okay, well, let's go home. And Leia's like, I still don't have a home.
Luke and Leia.
Okay, so Leia has a rumor that finally came out today.
Oh, this was the first interesting Leia rumor.
This was the first interesting, and it's basically there's been
concept art
of Leia standing with two guards that were described as either Naboo guards or rebel, like what we see on the blockade runner in the first Star Wars movie.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
I like to say that they're Naboo guards.
Yeah.
Right? Because, again, Leia doesn't have a home, so she goes and she makes Naboo her home because that's where her mother lived. I like that idea.
She comes in with her Star Destroyers, wipes out the population,
gets rid
lays
of
down as the new monarch.
I'm going to only live here if the Gungans just die.
I'm taking back the place for my mother and her race, and she wipes out the Gungans.
Or wait, I'm only going to live here if I can live with the Gungans. So Leia's actually living underwater with Boss Nass.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
right?
They have...
Anyway, what they're saying is the guards, whoever was describing this concept art, was saying that the guards could look a little bit Naboo-ish. But she is standing there.
Racist?
I think so.
Naboo-ish.
Yeah.
He looks a little Naboo-ish.
But what they're saying is that she's surrounded by huts.
Wow. Like 5 huts.
Yeah, they're like in
5
a circle of huts.
Men.
Yeah. Which is interesting to me. They described it as that she's not in danger, that she's talking with them, but I like to think that she is in danger because she killed Jabba and all the rest of the huts are after her, which gives Leia, I think, an interesting story.
It's like, I mean, if you think of it this way, it's like Leia strangled Don Corleone with a chain. Yeah. Like, if you think of it that way, I mean, like, these were people who were chasing Han Solo, a lowly smuggler, through the galaxy.
Leia, like... So Leia
what if Luke absconded Leia? They're together, hidden.
I thought about that. But like,
incest is in. Like, Game of Thrones has made it okay to talk about that.
No, it hasn't. Here's the thing. I think Star Wars repeats themes. Like Lucas has said, there's certain themes that are weaved in and out of the storyline. That's the way he told the stories. Yeah. I think that Leia killing Jabba, who is not affiliated with the Empire at all, could be on the Leia is now the one with the price on her head.
Yeah, that's that's a good point.
Right? So that weaves this theme of someone having a price on their head. Instead of Han, it's now Leia because she killed Jabba.
Right.
So I like this whole idea that the huts are after her.
There's themes of past transgressions and redemption.
Yeah.
I mean, that redemption's a massive theme in the Star Wars saga.
Right. So I like this. I like this rumor. I like the idea of her being tied to the huts because of what she did to Jabba.
Yeah, and thank God, give her a storyline. For
Christ's
sakes.
Right. Totally on board with this. Yeah. The only thing that debunks this rumor is Carrie Fisher has said that she's kind of alluded to the fact that she wishes her part was a little bit meatier. She said, "Oh, I wish I was playing Han Solo." That might just be Carrie Fisher being
crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say jokester, but crazy, high,
mind degraded by drugs.
Right. But I like that storyline that if she's she killed off a key member.
Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense.
The gangsters are after her.
Unlike other storylines and rumors I've heard about Star Wars Episode 7, that one actually makes sense because it continues in an organic way.
It does continue in an organic way.
It doesn't have to shoehorn something in. It's there's actually another class of people called Inquisitors you didn't know about. And
also, I just thought of this. They've been there's a huge cast for Episode 7.
Yeah.
Right?
So much so that I don't know what anyone's doing.
That's the thing. Nobody's really talked about, are there going to be bounty hunters? Are there going to be new bounty hunters? Is
new bounty hunters?
Well,
finally.
yeah, right. We haven't gotten enough bounty hunters.
Well, we've got that girl bounty hunter now. I guess.
Who?
Well, in the Rebels.
She's not a bounty hunter. She just wears Mandalorian armor.
Just sexy Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, sexy Mandalorian armor.
Okay.
And not Mandalorians aren't even bounty hunters.
That's true. They're just kind of
Spartans. But what if Adam Driver is a bounty hunter?
Yeah, I don't know. I just want Honestly, for Adam Driver to like play a villain, I just think it's so like silly. It's
Well,
it's,
okay,
like,
so
it's so obvious.
one of the other rumors that came out on Leak Day,
Okay.
Leak Day 2014,
Where were you?
that a key character in Star Wars is going to be none other than it's a trap.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Akbar.
Yeah, Mr. Akbar. Now.
Mr. Akbar to me.
He is no longer part of the Imperial or the Rebellion. Maybe. Yeah, so they're saying that he's actually a key member. I wonder which actor would be playing him. I would guess
That
Andy
to me
Serkis,
seems...
maybe.
Well, no.
I mean,
That to me seems 100% legit because A, it seems like a character that J.J. would love.
yeah.
B,
Fan
why
recognition.
would you bring him back? He's fun.
Yeah,
He's
fan
fun.
recognition.
He's fun. He's cool design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says something in the movie like
Now
it's.
the big question is, will Nine Numb be coming back? That's the contentious one.
Do we even know what Nine Numb's race is? Like, he was the only one. Like, he's never been in anything else. He might as well be an Ewok.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Count Dooku.
That's right. The new rumor today was that a character in an earlier draft was connected to Count Dooku as it was when Ben
Cumberbatch.
Benjamin? Is that his name? Benjamin? Cumberbatch?
Here's the thing.
Sherlock?
Wait, can we side note here?
Yeah, let's side note.
Okay.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Who the fuck is this
Right?
guy?
I feel like the fandom, no matter what the fandom is,
Yeah.
Doctor Who,
Yeah.
Star Trek,
The amorphous shape of fandom.
yes,
Yeah.
they've embraced this actor,
Right.
as being the new
Thing.
thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell he is.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
He doesn't
like
connect with me.
he
Who the
doesn't.
fuck
I
is
see
he?
him and I'm like, I don't know
He was
who
in a movie
you
with Julia
are.
Roberts.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
frustrates me.
care.
It
Is he
frustrates
Is he a Doctor Who?
me. No, he's not a Doctor Who. He is a
He's Sherlock.
He's
right?
Sherlock, which is a show that's ran by
on
the
BBC. On
by
the
the
BBC.
guy who runs the Doctor Who show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same guy.
Oh, maybe that's why I couldn't get into it.
It's connection.
Can't get into Doctor Who. Can't get into.
Well, Doctor Who's a whole other thing. We could certainly talk about that sometime. Doctor Who.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, let's not go there.
No.
It's complicated.
Yeah, well, there's good things and bad things.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm a fan, but I'm not a hater.
Right. So yeah, earlier draft was that Cumberbatch was a descendant of Dooku, but now that character's been recast as a woman.
Because Dooku's an aristocratic, stick up the ass
not saying
character.
That, not saying that a woman couldn't be descendant of Dooku, but Star Wars is a little bit sexist.
It used to be when it was good.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
No, sorry.
Right.
But
so I think that was the rumors of du jour.
Yeah, I mean, the Dooku rumor I like. It's nice to hear someone at least rumor that there's going to be a prequel connection somewhere.
Exactly.
'Cause the thing is, and this ties into the very next rumor, if it doesn't tie back to the prequels in some way, why? Why did I mean, if you figure 2 hours a piece, I mean, like, what? That's
6 hours.
Is it just 6 hours?
Yeah,
No. It's 12 with the OT.
Oh, you're talking about the entire trilogy? I thought you were just talking about the prequels.
all to tie together because it's all got to be part of something.
Right. Well, yeah.
So
yeah, I have another rant about the prequels, but that's for another time.
Well, maybe
Maybe it's for one of our after show talks.
Okay. But so the prequels have to be tied in. It all has to tie back to where it started. Which the next rumor is.
The last
that
rumor we got today
George
was
Lucas says. Well, he didn't come out and be like, "Hey, here's a rumor for you." I wish.
Yeah.
But no. Supposedly somebody says that the plot outline he sold Disney, his original plan was for the sequel trilogy to tie all the way back, and in a very literal way, all the way back to the origins of the Jedi and the Sith, and what the Force and the dark side really are, and really get nitty gritty. What is the origin of evil? And they say that the new trilogy is very in line with that overall, which to me seems like that's totally where they're going to go.
See, I didn't read it that way. I don't know if I read it correctly.
Okay, let's hash it out.
Like, I read it that, like, so the end of, I guess, episode 9 is going to leave you in a spot where we were in episode 1.
Oh, you meant like literally?
I thought literally.
Like someone's got time travel and it's like...
No. Like, I thought, like, you know, maybe, and this would end on such a dark note, but, like, that at the end of episode 9, there's only 2 Jedi.
And they're like from now on there will only be 2 of us.
Right.
And they make a rule of 2 for the Jedi.
Right. And there's a rule of 2 of Jedi, and the Sith are.
Oh, and you see that it's not so much light and dark per se, and like judgment. It's just this is how it goes. Sometimes one's in power, sometimes the other one.
Yeah, just flip flops.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that if you read some of the EU, I think some of that's in there.
Yeah.
You know that
certainly with the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I think that the EU does a good job of not portraying the Jedi as just being all good. There's levels, there's shades of gray and everything. And
the trouble with that to me is that it's I like that idea, but like it's good for one shot, and then after that it's like you get to the point where the Knights of the Old Republic are for me, where it's like, so this is what it is. We're just going to start watching people go back and forth, where it's like, no, they're in power,
right.
no, they're in power. No.
History repeats itself.
Well, yeah, but like it's not as interesting to me when it's a 2-pole system where it's like either light or dark.
Right.
Like it's more interesting that they had the Night Sisters involved, which I'm shocked we've heard nothing about that in episode 7.
Well,
although that might be addressed in 2 days when the final episode of or the final installment of Darth Maul, Son of...
Oh, is that coming out this week?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
Tie that up.
Totally
so
on board
maybe
with that.
All Night Sisters
all right.
are wiped out.
Awesome. Side note, last episode we were talking about if Sith was ever mentioned.
Oh, you followed up?
I didn't follow up with the original trilogy, but in Phantom Menace, they clearly say Sith.
Nice.
They
clear
almost they clear enunciation.
It's called Sith.
It's almost like the entire scene revolves around them saying the word Sith.
What scene is it?
It was so you had Newt Gunray and his his little underling and they're all terrified that they can't get the treaty signed.
I love those characters, by the way.
Newt
Gunray is great.
They are humorously incompetent.
Yeah, and in this trapped in a web they don't understand.
They have no idea what's going on,
yeah.
Right? But they're like, we can't get the treaty signed. We lost the queen. She disappeared. A ship got through the blockade. We don't know how. And Palpatine is on the hologram, and he's like, well, if you can't find him, maybe a Sith can. And you see gay Darth Maul appear in the background. And it's like, hey, Darth Maul, I'm here. I'm a Sith. I'm gay. You really get a sense, that, is it tattoos or is it just makeup that he's wearing?
Yeah, I mean, not to say that makeup would make somebody gay.
No, but, it's very well done makeup.
Yeah, the boots, if anything. But, so... Basically, Ron, how are you feeling about? To me, I'll be honest with you. To me, the rumors, the leaks, what have you. I feel like everything's in very capable hands, but every rumor has set off my bullshit alarm and made me incensed.
I'm sticking with. I am following up on every rumor. I can't get enough of it. I know there's some fans out there.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Right. Here's my thing with spoilers. These aren't spoilers. These are just rumors.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't get enough of the rumors. Yeah, it's something we've been waiting for, and there's nothing's official. Nothing is official has come out. We haven't gotten any kind of, we've gotten a guy in a marketplace hunched over. We got J.J. standing in front of a X-Wing. We got a robotic hand and we got a chess table. That's all we have that's official. Right.
And
everything
those
else
aren't even saying they're in the movies. It's weird.
Right. That's not even like saying this is a part of episode 7. It's just like, hey, these are the things that we're photographing that are lying around.
Yeah.
Right? Everything else is just like pure speculation, which is what we're all about.
Agreed.
Right? So we, like, the more we know, the less we know. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that there's just, like, I'm all on board with, like, following these rumors, but I don't believe we know anything yet. I mean, I agree
with that.
We know the cast. Oh, that's the other thing. We know the cast. We don't know what they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a big.
And
cast,
some of these rumors, some of
these
these rumors they talk about them, and it's like, okay, but you're forgetting that, Isaac, what's his name again, from Llewyn Davis.
I like that guy too.
Yeah. That he's flying the Millennium Falcon now, and blah blah blah. Like, we don't know any of this stuff at all.
What's funny is Oscar Isaacs.
I
think that Oscar Isaacs would actually make a fantastic villain, and I think that Adam Driver would actually make a fantastic hero.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see it flipped because everyone keeps talking about, like, they're doing the same thing they do with, like, the Superman movies, where it's like, you gotta have the guy from Breaking Bad play Lex Luthor because he played a character who was bad and bald. It's like very obvious things. Where it's like, gotta have Adam Driver play the bad guy because he looks like an asshole.
Right.
Gotta have Oscar Isaac play a hero because he looks like, and it's like way cooler if it's flipped.
Right.
So let those actors stretch. To me, I like your approach. I agree with everything you said. It's more of a Zen approach. I can't help but be reactionary. To me, when I look at the very concept of having stormtroopers in it, I mean, like, you need stormtroopers, but it's like, my immediate reaction is like, well, why can't it be more creative? Like, if they're neo-Nazis, like, they're probably going to be under-equipped. They're going to be using old stuff.
That's the thing, yeah. It would be nice to see, like, the old original trilogy uniform mixed
up,
in.
And, like, they're kind of like mixing in like shit that doesn't match because they don't have enough stuff, but they're just kind of more like ideologically.
Totally
like,
on board with that. Yeah, totally on board with that. Yeah.
Stormtroopers for stormtroopers.
Right.
But if they're well funded and stuff, that to me implies that it's with the people who's in power. And if it's the rebellion has taken power and it's like Animal Farm style, where like you can't tell the difference between the pigs and the farmers anymore.
Yeah.
Well, then it's like, well, damn, that's a depressing storyline. Like, I hope Leia's not involved.
Well, okay, that's an interesting thought that you bring up.
Yeah.
Is Episode 7 going to be, like, a feel-good movie? Like,
it's by J.J.
Right, but, like, we're talking about, like,
he could go dark,
Harrison Ford, Han Solo. Is Han Solo going to die? Because, honestly, like, old Han Solo or young Han Solo, like, I don't really want to see him die. Like, I don't.
That's true.
I don't really want to see, Luke captured. Like, I want to see these characters
fighting forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they are. You're the comic book guy. You know that, like, comic book characters go on forever unless you see a body. They're not dead.
Yep.
Like, these are my comic book characters. Like,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, do you want to?
Do I? Like, it's nice. Like, it's nice that you're giving these actors who portrayed these very iconic roles a chance to
cash a fantastic paycheck.
Right, to portray those fantastic characters again.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do you want to see them end?
Well, I mean, that's a hard question, I mean, like, it's an interesting thing, though, because at this point, Star Wars is generational. Like, so you saw these characters at the right age on the movie screen, and, like, the next generation, like, the kids coming up now probably have a different relationship to, these characters who wear these 70s haircuts in the boring Star Wars movies.
Right. Right.
So it's interesting. It's kind of an interesting thing that, like, there'll be different emotional highs and lows if a character like that dies, which I think is going to happen.
Sure.
Like, for different people. Like, if you, me, and, like, a high schooler kid went and saw Episode 7 and, like, Han dies, we're all three going to experience it differently.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
Yeah.
But how, and, like, at a certain point, like, you can't, well, I would, if you're going to tell a worthwhile story, you can't please everyone.
Right, yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, is, like, it's no longer we've made the transition from being, like, a tight, concise thing, a la the very first, Star Wars, to being this sprawling soap opera at this point.
Right.
Kind of. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what to expect from episode 7, even with all these rumors, even with stuff that feels concrete. We haven't talked
about spin-offs. We haven't
talked about... yeah, I was going to say, like, we've already talked over an hour on this subject. Yeah. I know we started off this episode talking that we weren't going to talk about episode 7, that we were going to talk beyond episode 7, but apparently we needed to get this out of our system first.
I mean, it's been building up. We haven't touched it.
Yeah, we haven't touched it. So I think that there's still an episode in us of talking about, like, what we want from the future of Star Wars, what Star Wars is going to look like in, 2020.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be this episode.
No.
I think we've gone on long enough with episode 7. Let this be our rumors episode, and
I think that'll be better as we get into Rebels and we start having a feeling for what they're going for.
Yeah. So, did we cover every rumor that we wanted to talk about? Is there anything outstanding?
Stormtroopers, Hand, Han's Duster.
Like
will Ghost show up?
Han used the lightsaber. Oh, the flashbacks.
That's the big one.
All right, let's talk about the flashbacks. Flashbacks are something that they are. They're saying that they're going to introduce into episode 7.
Yeah. They've even talked about recasting the Leia role.
With Carrie Fisher's daughter.
So we'll see a young woman playing a young Leia, who is not Carrie Fisher. This is the second time we've seen this in this franchise.
Also see Vader interacting with the Inquisitors.
Yeah. That's what she'll be witnessing in their custody.
So a lot of fans are in uproar about this, that there shouldn't be flashbacks in Star Wars.
I think here's my thing. I feel like that is contrived. I think that is something that the the quote unquote news sources, the pop culture news sources on the internet have foisted onto fandom.
Oh yeah.
And I think they have totally just made and their urge they have to have 24-hour content. They have to have stuff every day for people to click on throughout the workday.
Sure.
And so it's like, well, let's make a thing out of this. There's flashbacks. Are flashbacks okay? And it's like, we all have a film degree, right? And it's like, no, we don't all have a film degree. Why couldn't, if Anakin can have some kind of weird-ass dream thing in episode 2 that Padme is going to die, and there's that jarring cut.
Yeah.
If they can do that, for fucking sure they can do a flashback.
Right. I like to think of it this. I used to listen to a podcast called iFanboy. It's 3 guys sitting around talking about the latest comic releases of the week. Very, honestly, very educational show. I credit them all the time for getting me into comic books, understanding what is good to read, what the classics are, how comics work.
Yeah.
3, they were great. I don't listen to them anymore. I moved on to listen to other podcasts, but one of the issues with comic books was always remaining true to continuity. One of the guys on the show was totally has to be in continuity, has to be always, you have to be able to tie things back to what has happened in the past.
Yep.
And one of the other guys out of the 3 guys, he was like, no, just tell good stories. And I like that. If I'm going to go and pick up a comic book, if I pick up the latest version of, Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or whatever, I pick it up, I want to be able to read it and not be I don't know what's going on, because I don't know what came before in the last 300 issues, And I think the whole flashback thing in Star Wars, you're right. The fans are being told
to get upset
about this.
Here's something to post on Facebook. It's weird. In a weird way, we're all looking for content to, like, generate.
Oh, yeah, right. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, do a flashback. If it works for the story, if it needs to tell a good story, then do it. It doesn't.
The opening of J.J.'s Star Trek, the 2009 Star Trek, was like, that was a great flashback.
Yeah.
Where it starts out and you think it's Kirk, and you find out it's Kirk's father, played by Chris Hemsworth. Like,
right.
That was fantastic. Like, I'm not going to deprive a moment like that from our Star Wars.
Yeah, I think Clone Wars, the series, taught us that, like, you can do other things in Star Wars that...
In an ironic twist, though, Filoni has said that the Rebels will not have flashbacks.
Yeah,
he has put his flag in the ground as Star Wars is a no flashback zone.
That is interesting.
It's a weird, geeky, fanny thing for him to do. I didn't think that was in him.
Well, I tend to have more faith in Filoni's storytelling than
I agree.
Whatever they're putting together for Episode 7.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that, like, he's just like, look, we don't, I understand the fans, or reluctance to have flashbacks in Star Wars. Look, we're telling stories where we don't need to do that.
Oh, okay. So you're saying he's saying that not so much as like fuck flashbacks, but more of a like, hey guys, well if that's something that bothers you, that's not in our plan. So because I've got enough shit against me already being a cartoon, so like
it's funny.
Okay.
He does have a lot of shit going against him because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad the other day, who, he likes Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He went to see the movies with me as a kid. I wouldn't say he got me into Star Wars, but my parents took me to see Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I was like telling him about all these crazy rumors and that are popping up about Episode 7. And I even showed him a picture of Mark Hamill with a beard, and he's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "It's Mark Hamill." He's like,
"Is that a Mooney doll he's holding?"
He's like, "What's with the doll?" I'm like, I don't know. But he was like, I'm like, "Dad." He's like, "Well, when's it coming out?" And I'm like, "Well, next year, towards the end of the year, maybe even 2016 if J.J. gets his way." And he's like, "Oh, that's a long ways away." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but Rebels, this cartoon series is coming out in October of this year." And he's like, "Yeah, it's a cartoon." But then I played him that 7-minute clip, and the first thing out of his mind, he's like, "This looks pretty good."
Oh,
so
there you go. Yeah, I mean, like, I believe in it. My faith has, I don't know why, man, but my faith is wavering lately. I feel like I'm naturally sort of it's just with Star Wars, I have a lot of fan tendencies that I can't quite get over, where I need to filter everything through this rigorous test of what is Star Wars and what is not, and it's funny. So you'd think I'd latch right on to the flashback thing, but weirdly that doesn't get me at all.
That doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't get me at all.
Well, I've had my faith restored in Star Wars. I think of the two of us, I do stay a little bit more optimistic about everything.
Well, you were Gen 1, so you've seen it. You've been here.
Yeah. So,
like, I lived through the prequels. I know.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I haven't lived through this. Like, having
it was a whole new
leaks,
thing with
rumor leaks come out.
No George Lucas.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
back to your continuity thing though. It's weird. It's a weird thing. 'Cause I just read today. I'm now getting addicted to Secret of Star Wars.com. I'm gonna have to buy that book and read it.
Yeah.
I think we're both gonna need to read that one.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how George Lucas, when he first started, he set out to make a Flash Gordon-esque, space epic that would resonate with everybody forever, like Star Wars has. And he didn't really know how to go about it. So to get things moving, he just started coming up with a bunch of names. And this is like before first draft even, when he's just making up things like spacey names, like Mace Windy and this and that.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's so funny. That's a weird way to start a story. And it's like, well, that's because it doesn't apply to any kind of, like, writing school. It's just being creative.
Right.
That's how you generate something. That's how you make something, like, that's creative and interesting, is like you just do things. And, like, maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. But, like, that's creativity. Continuity runs flat in the face of creativity.
Absolutely.
And, like, the best comic stories of, say, Marvel, which was a very continuity-based thing up until maybe 1980-something.
Okay.
Melded the two well. And, like, where they would fight against each other actually made the story better.
Sure.
That's a talent that's kind of been lost in comics.
Right.
And I would say, like, right now, Marvel would have a very loose term of continuity. Loose at best. And I feel like it has actually kind of hurt them on some level.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And so it's one of those things where I don't think it is an either-or proposition. It's about finding those people who can make it work, who feel it's important. And, you know, we'll see. I mean, this is the first entry where they've really, outside of the Clone Wars, which was a slam dunk, that they really had to add on. And so,
yeah.
I mean,
all right, well, folks, we didn't mean to do a bait and switch on you. I know we sold this episode at the top of the episode as being talking about the future of Star Wars, which we did, but we wanted to dive further into the future beyond the next trilogy, really, and talk about like what Star Wars is going to be like, 10 years, 15 years from now.
We've only even talked about 7, and we didn't even get to 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson. We didn't even get into the fact
didn't get into that.
I mean, George Lucas planned for these to be 12 films originally.
Right. All right. So, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought it was just 9.
There's Bantha Tracks interviews with him when he said 12.
Oh, Bantha Tracks. Yeah, we need to
fucking
dig
Bantha
those
Tracks.
out. We need to dig those out.
Is there not a book collection of Bantha Tracks?
I
there
don't
really
know. I
should
used
be.
to have some. I don't know if I still do.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Those old zines, man. Those go for money.
Yeah. Anyway, we promise we'll get to what we originally thought we were going to talk about, but obviously we needed to get some of this episode 7 rumors out of our system.
Yeah.
So we can move on. We're not a news show. We don't sell ourselves as a news show.
God, no.
We are really, I think we're an editorial show. We definitely bring our own thoughts into what's going on in Star Wars universe. So
you're getting news analysis.
Yeah, so I hope that you continue to listen to us. We are definitely we have a pretty strong lineup of future episodes coming up.
Yep.
That we
get ready.
We want to talk about. I like to think of it. This podcast is kind of one continuous episode, one continuous conversation broken up into episodes, or you can kind of jump in wherever.
I think this is the podcast that shot first.
Oh, nice. All right, folks. That is all for today. We will get back to you with the future of Star Wars later. Until then,
don't forget to let us know what you think we got wrong, got right, or anything else in between in swdog77@gmail.com. Or find us on Facebook at Delusions of Granular. However you find pages on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's Granular, GRANULAR. So.
And give us a review on Facebook, on iTunes.
And Stitcher, if that's
Stitcher.
possible.
Yeah, we don't even know
used
Stitcher.
it.
Yeah. All right, folks. Until then, may the Force be with you.
A blockbuster summer. Moving pictures got us through to September. They made a movie about me and you, and they made it half nude and half true. There was a blood-sucking summer. I spent half the time trying to get paid for my savior. Swishing through the city center, I did a couple favors for these guys that look like Tusken Raiders.